A young man named Tae-suk lives a simple and ordinary life, driving his motorbike across the city and leaving takeout menus on the front door of various houses. Carefully choosing the places where the leaflets haven't been removed, Tae-suk breaks into apartments and lives there for a little while in the absence of the owners. He first checks up on the answering machines and then makes himself at home, taking a bath, wearing other people's clothes, and eating their food. But Tae-suk is not a burglar. He does chores, cleaning, hand-washing clothes, and repairing any broken devices. As a memento, he takes a snapshot of himself, standing in front of the owner's photographs. Leaving before he's noticed, Tae-suk heads out to another place to spend the day. His next stop is a luxurious house. This time, though, the place isn't as empty as he first had thought. A woman named Sun-hwa is silently watching him accommodating himself. Sun-hwa is a former model, quietly suffering in the hands of her abusive husband, Min-gyu. Tae-suk has a look at some of Sun-hwa's pictures before fixing the weighing device. Sun-hwa weighs herself and surprised Tae-suk while he's sleeping in her bedroom. The phone rings and Tae-suk dresses up. Sun-hwa picks up the phone and lets out a cry that momentarily halts Tae-suk. Tae-suk leaves the house but doesn't go very far. Thinking about Sun-hwa, he promptly returns and sees her crying in the bathtub. He puts on a moving song and finds something nice for her to wear. Sun-hwa puts on a fine pink dress and sits in the couch. A golf ball is rolled over to her, which she rolls back to an unseen Tae-suk. Soon, however, Sun-hwa's husband, Min-gyu, arrives. He yells at her for being lazy and reprimands her for the dress she's wearing. He then apologizes and tries to have sex with her. All the while, Tae-suk, who is standing at the garden, is watching them. Feeling disgusted at Sun-hwa's abuse by her husband, he lashes out at the golf practice. Min-gyu hears the noise and goes to confront the intruder. He tries to call the police, but Tae-suk hits him with the golf balls and throws him down. Tae-suk exits the house and gets on his bike. He rolls on the throttle, offering Sun-hwa a way out of her misery. Sun-hwa abandons her husband and joins the stranger. They venture the city together, putting takeout leaflets and waiting for nightfall to find an empty house to break in. Tae-suk ties a golf ball to a tree and hits it in some form of practice. Later, they find the apartment of a photography student to be temporarily unoccupied and get inside. They both see a photo of Sun-hwa on the wall. Tae-suk repairs a wall clock and lies on the couch to sleep. Sun-hwa, showing how much her soul is damaged, takes down her photograph and rearranges it into many disorderly squares. In the morning, they both have breakfast and successfully avoid a visitor. Tae-suk takes a memento photo of himself and Sun-hwa manages to get into one with him. The couple leaves shortly after, and the next day they follow the same tactic. The couple settles in a house that belongs to a professional boxer and his wife, who are currently away to celebrate their anniversary. Tae-suk does his normal chores and repairs, and even cuts Sun-hwa's hair. They both get closer to one another that night, and they lie down together in bed. But as they're sleeping, they fail to notice in time the owner's return. Alarmed by their presence, the man wears his boxing gloves and beats Tae-suk. Yet Tae-suk and Sun-hwa avoid further trouble and they're allowed to leave. Spending the rest of the night outside, Tae-suk decides to practice his golf swings. The golf ball, however, breaks free from the cord and smashes the windshield of a passing car. Tae-suk and Sun-hwa witness the golf ball has seriously injured a woman in the head. The driver is in shock and Tae-suk, regretful enough, walks away and breaks down in tears. Sun-hwa hugs him and shows that she is there for him. In the morning, they break into a traditional house where they drink tea and kiss each other. The next day, they get inside a house only to find a dead old man lying on the floor with his little dog standing by his side. Tae-suk tries in vain to reach the deceased's relatives along with Sun-hwa prepared the body for burial. A little time later, the phone rings and Tae-suk picks it up. He hears the voice of the old man's son and hangs up. Staying at the small apartment for the night, the couple is surprised when they see the owner's relatives coming in. They both remain silent while the others call the police. Being arrested, the couple is taken into custody and questioned about the whereabouts of the old man. The detective who is in charge of the investigation thinks of Tae-suk as a dangerous trespasser, With Sun Hua taken outside, he starts smacking Tae-suk in the face until he gets the information he wants. The detective notifies the son of the missing person that his father is dead and dumped near the apartment. A dig-out is ordered then, and the deceased old is found properly buried. One of the officers exclaims that this doesn't look like a dump. Back at the police station, the detective calls Sun Hwa's husband and asks him to come to the station. Tae-suk is facing charges of breaking and entering, murder, and kidnapping. But Tae-suk has a clean file, and the reports specifically state that he hasn't stolen anything from the houses he has broken in. Min-gyu comes shortly after and lashes out at Tae-suk, throwing golf balls at him before taking his wife away. An officer brings the results of the autopsy to the detective. As it turns out, the old man wasn't murdered, but instead died of lung cancer. The officer says that Tae-suk buried the old man better than any son would. Back at their house, Min-gyu tells Sun Hwa that he has changed and he is a better man now. But he has bribed the detective to have a few moments alone with Tae-suk prior to his release. Tae-suk is tossed off a police car with handcuffs in his hands. Min-gyu exacts his revenge by hitting Tae-suk multiple times with golf balls. The detective comes then and grabs Tae-suk, who attacks him and tries to strangle him. This doesn't end well for Tae-suk, however, who is sent to prison for assaulting a police officer. A little while later, Tae-suk is seen inside his cell, practicing golf ball hits with an invisible bat. One of his inmates takes his imaginary ball and Tae-suk attacks him. The detention officers come then and isolate him. In the meantime, Sun Hwa suffers living with her husband while Tae-suk practices techniques of invisibility, hiding from the detention officer inside his cell. Sun Hwa reacts to her husband and visits one of the houses she and Tae-suk had stayed in, where she sleeps in the couch, reminiscing of him. The detention officer comes again in Tae-suk's cell. The cell seems empty though, and the officer searches around, unaware that Tae-suk is toe-walking right behind him, eluding his attention. The officer, however, notices the prisoner's shadow and sees him, after which he proceeds in giving him another beating. Tae-suk, however, smiles and practices again, until he succeeds in fooling the officer. Perfectly hiding and tossing the officer out of the cell makes Tae-suk look like he's a powerful ghost. Upon his release, Tae-suk attacks the corrupted detective, hitting him with golf balls. Then he roams about unseen in the houses of the professional boxer and the photography student. He even visits the traditional houses and lies on the couch, just like Sun Hwa had done a while ago. Min-gyu, who is waiting for Tae-suk to appear, hears a noise in the middle of the night but doesn't see anything. Sun Hwa leaves the bedroom and sees Tae-suk. Min-gyu gets out and sees his wife standing alone in front of the mirror. Walking to her, Sun Hwa says, "I love you," but she isn't talking to him, but to Tae-suk, who is standing right behind him. Min-gyu hugs her wife, who lays her hand out to Tae-suk. While Min-gyu is holding his wife, he is totally ignorant of Sun Hwa kissing Tae-suk. The next day, during breakfast, Sun Hwa keeps smiling to Tae-suk, who is standing totally undetected behind her husband. Min-gyu leaves for work, and Sun Hwa finds Tae-suk inside the house and kisses him. In the last sequence, the weighing device shows 0, despite the couple standing on it. In conclusion, a note says it's hard to tell the world we live in is either a reality of a dream. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to our channel. I'll be back with another interesting movie recap. Until then, take care.